Yeah, man, that's crazy. 40 days, God, I've been Swayze. Grew the beard out, that ain't shady. That's a bird, man, I ain't baby. Talking whole pop, that's so crazy. How I got a shot, raise the bean sprout up, put a crown up on her head so the boys seeing, no, that's a lady. If you ain't catch a double that time on the last rhyme, dog, I could help you. I got plenty more where that came from. When I brainstorm, I need shelter. It's enough water from the most high, even low tide, he gon' wet you. Better learn how to dance in the rain, ain't no use without an umbrella. When I yap for the king, I'ma lap anything on the track. When I rap and I scrap in the ring, back in the Mac. When I cock back in the swing, get a pap and you gotta lay flat when it. That's a mantra. Change the way y'all see the Father. Sing praise to the Most High, so when most die, y'all see His honor. He was dripping with the backlash, and he let him zip him in the black bag. For the intermission was a hashtag, but the demolition wasn't that sad. It was intuition and a premonition, but the imposition wasn't that bad. It was cynicism with the inhibition, but the bigger vision was the last.
Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? I can't relate to them, ain't my chick calming. I set a goal for me, 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
What did it do, y'all? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of the Accountable Podcast on Thursday evening, guys. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Do me a favor if you don't mind. We're gonna jump right into this real quickly, guys. Do me a favor, guys. Like, share, and subscribe if you're getting some value from your partner. Whenever I go live, there's a little bell there. No matter what platform that you're on, click on that bell. So when I come live, you come kick it with your partner as I look better than you. It's all good, baby. Don't get mad at me. Talk to Jesus about that thing, guys. But guys, let's dive into this thing real quickly, guys. We have some pretty good topics for today. It has been a very eventful week, guys. News-wise, it realistically has, and it's been a good thing. I'm running that. There we go. Here's our topics for today, guys. Man, executive power versus the bench. There was a ruling on tariffs, guys. And the news flash, Trump was not really happy about it. We're going to talk about that. Number 2, man, the Chicago Bears fumble. Man, could the Bears be leaving for another city? What you say, Chuck? Yes, sir. And you're going to be shocked at how that happened. All right. Number 3, man, the State of the Union, man. Oh, man, was it a reset or a rally? Man, we got some stuff we're going to look at, man. And lastly, maybe we'll talk about you're accountable. With all this information, what can you do to benefit your life at this time, guys? Guys, let's dive into this first topic. Man, this right here, this was a barn burner. Bro, y'all, there was a ruling on tariffs. As you guys know, President Trump has been using tariff as a way to even the playing field when it comes to his predecessors, or I'm sorry, his counterparts on the other side of the table, other countries, which I'll call them business systems, right? You have the business of Colombia, the business of America, the business of China. These are business systems. Well, there's a tool in the president's toolbox that he can use called a tariff, right? And he was using tariffs to force his counterparts to come back to the table and begin to renegotiate this stuff, all right? That's what he was trying to do, all right? And he's doing it really at a really good level, guys, to be honest with you. I got to say so myself. Now, real quick, hold on one second. I got to plug my thing in real fast. Now, he was using a specific act called IEEPA to get this accomplished, right? Now, before I go into IEEPA, let's kind of walk back into some history real quickly, okay? As Trump was introducing these tariffs, you had China come back to the table and renegotiate the deal. You had not Venezuela, but other countries come back. Japan. You had Saudi Arabia. You had all these other countries, i.e., businesses, come to the table and renegotiate terms because what Trump was wanting is he was wanting an even trading field. we were in arrears or we were losing money on all of our trades, right? Which led me to ask the question, who negotiated these bad deals to where we're always in the arrears? Now, there's an argument to where being in arrears, right, or losing money or being behind the eight ball when it comes to tariffs was good for our economy. I beg to differ. That's not sustainable. So therefore, I was in favor of the tariffs strategically to force your counterparts to come to the table to renegotiate bad deals, guys. So now he was using an act called IEEPA, right? IEEPA. And I went to Chat GPT and I'm gonna show you guys what this is real quickly so you can see what's going on. And you're gonna be able to see the prompts and everything. The prompts and everything. Hold on one second, guys. We'll get back to it. Boom. Prompts and everything, guys. Here we go. Here are the prompts. Now, with these prompts, I'm gonna make it a little bigger for everybody in the back row so you can see what's going on. There we go. Now, I don't like that back row. Anyways, here is IEEPA. I'm gonna make it bigger for everybody in the back row. We're gonna read it real fast because it's important for you to know what this is, okay? IEEPA stands for the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. This was drafted in 1977, right? And the IEEPA allows for presidents, it's right here, guys, right here, right? Allows for presidents to block or freeze foreign assets, restrict trade, prohibit financial transactions, impose economic sanctions, regulate foreign exchange. It is codified at 50 USC, and there it is right here. So that's what's going on. What Trump was doing, he was using this act to be able to kind of see what's going on with trades. Now, I did actually ask ChatGPT, how does it relate to tariffs? This is what it said, right? And we're going to listen to a constitutional attorneys, two of them in a second, and they're going to be on the opposing sides. So you're going to get both of the sides, okay? This says, the question is, how does this act relate to tariffs? It says IEEPA is not a tariff law. Watch this. But it can be used to impose tariff like trade restrictions during a declared national emergency. The key issue here was national emergency, right? And how you were interpreting what a tariff is, right? Some interpreted tariffs as a what do you call it? As a tax. Some said it's not a tax. So it really comes down to interpretation of what's going on, guys. Does that make some sense here? I want us to see exactly what's going on here. That's what it is. So we got a kind of a crash course on what this is, all right? Now, let's go to where it was breaking news, and we're going to also look at this, and we're going to see how people responded to this from the political landscaping, media landscaping, as well as from the business side, okay? Because tariffs affected everybody from, what happened to my, hold on, what happened to my, there, okay, whoa. There I am. Oh, there I am. Oh well, something happened, yes. But tariffs affected not only, it affected businesses, it affected countries, it affected consumers, it affected everybody in some form or fashion. Okay? So let's dive into this real quickly, guys. Let's go over to let's see, replace this here, stop sharing. Let's go over here real quickly to the media. When it first came out, guys, this is when it first came out. Let's see what actually going to, when it first came out. Let's see let's hear how people responded real quickly here. And then what we could do, guys, is we can respond to it. Here we go. Let's get into it. No, here we go. Here we go. Let's get into it.
For you, it's finally here. The Supreme Court has made a decision on President Trump's tariffs. This is a huge case, a big ruling. It comes right before the State of the Union. And Shannon Bream, of course, is standing by with us. Shannon, do we have an initial thought on what the ruling is?
We do. We've got a very fractured opinion, but initially what it says, we know it's authored, the primary opinion, by the Chief Justice, and says essentially that this IEEPA, this law that grants the president emergency powers, did not, it looks like by this first blush reading by Justice, the Chief Justice here, does not give him the power to levy these tariffs that he's levied. Part of this initial opinion says, the words regulate and importation, the president says that gives him the independent power to impose tariffs on imports from any country, any product, any rate, any time. These words, it says, cannot bear such weight. We know we've got a dissent by Justice Kavanaugh, by Thomas and Alito, it looks like, and those were the three we thought during the arguments, if anyone would be persuaded to allow the president to move forward with these tariffs, they would be the ones to do it. So at first blush, like I said, there are multiple parts and concurrences to this opinion, but it looks like what the primary holding is going to be is that these tariffs cannot be used in the way that the president had tried to use them. Let me get you to the closing paragraph that we have in this initial opinion here. It says, the president asserts the extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration, and scope. In light of the breadth, history, and constitutional context of that asserted authority, he must identify clear congressional authorization to exercise it, meaning if he wants to do it, he's got to show that Congress has allowed him to do it. But they say IEEPA, this emergency powers law, contains no reference to tariffs or duties. The government points to no statute in which Congress used the word regulate to authorize taxation. And until now, no president has ever read IEEPA to confer such powers. We claim no special competence in matters of economics or foreign affairs, but we claim only, as we must, the limited role assigned to us by Article 3 of the Constitution. Fulfilling that role, we hold that IEEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. We'll keep reading. That is the first blush, authored by the Chief Justice John Roberts.
Shannon Bream, thank you so much. Bill Maloogian is with me, and we will anchor through this hour. This is big breaking news, everyone. And Jonathan Turley is a constitutional law attorney and George Washington law professor. He's a Fox News contributor. We have been waiting for this decision. It is finally here. I don't think the White House will be surprised, even though they will be disappointed. They will probably vehemently disagree. But this is at least definitive, it sounds like, Jonathan, from the Supreme Court, that this was not allowed.
It is indeed, and this is what some of us predicted. This was a case where the administration was at a disadvantage. IEEPA does not refer to tariffs, and tariffs are a big deal under the Constitution. It's a critical form of revenue that is left to Congress. And I thought that the administration did a terrific job in front of the Supreme Court. They could not have argued this case better, in my view. But you can't really escape that language. And right out of the bat, when that oral argument began, the Chief Justice John Roberts said, this is a tax. And you could almost hear the administration gulping because... Right there,
guys. That is the social contention, is the word tariff. The Chief Justice interpreted that as a tax, right? That's very important when it comes to their ruling. Extremely important, okay?
That's not what they wanted the justices to take from their argument. But Roberts and others clearly view this as a tax that rests with Congress. Now, there's a lot of runway still for the administration. We have to really get into this opinion, into some of the weeds, to see if it is prospective only, but also the administration has other tools in its toolbox. It can actually impose tariffs under other statutes. So this night is hardly over for the administration when it comes to tariffs.
And Jonathan, the Supreme Court took months to make this decision. They had oral arguments back in November. They seemed pretty skeptical about this 1977 law that the president was using to impose these tariffs broadly. President Trump has said if the Supreme Court does this and strikes down his ability to use these tariffs, it would be disastrous for the country. Talking about how are you supposed to send the money back? How do you put the toothpaste back into the bottle? What are your thoughts on that? Is the United States going to suddenly have to return the money it took in via the tariffs as part of this 1977 law that the court is saying he can't use to do this?
That's what we're going to have to dig a little deeper into the opinion to see if it is prospective only. Also, Congress has to decide if it wants to move here. The economy is doing extremely well with this administration and with the tariffs. And so the question is Congress going to move in here to make sure that we don't have to step back in terms of the progress that has been made. In any case, we're looking at years of intensive and expensive litigation unless Congress wants to intervene and try to streamline that process.
Okay.
But there's still a lot to be resolved. This is a fractured decision. It's what some of us predicted. You know, when I noted after the oral argument was that it seemed to me like a majority of justices were not buying the tariff argument generally under IEEPA, the statute. But they were all expressing different reasons, or many of them were expressing different reasons for their objections. So it's fractured in that sense. So we have to see how this is going to play out. But the pressure will be now not just on the administration, but on Congress, because I think that the public itself would not want to see a wholesale return of tariff money to the detriment of the economy.
Shannon Bream, you've been reading. What more?
So I like Jonathan Turley. Jonathan Turley, he leans liberal, which is fine, that's cool with me. I like he's very even keeled. He's very balanced when it comes to his perspective legally. He's a constitutional attorney and professor at Georgetown University. So he's a very highly acclaimed individual. He even said that the Trump administration, their attorneys actually presented an excellent case. But as soon as they began to unpack their case, you heard the Chief Justice say, this is a tax. And right there, that's when they knew they were probably on uneven ice here because of the fact that if their interpretation of a tariff is a tax, that by default, based on the Constitution, falls within the purview of the Congress. So it realistically, that was the source of contention there with this. All right, now let's bring in another attorney real fast, and he's also a constitutional attorney. Well, before I bring him in, let's bring in somebody real quickly that can actually unpack what a tariff is in a minute and a half. Realistically, what it is. I want us to be able to understand what we're looking at, what we're seeing, so that we have any discussion. We can have good, wise discussions so that we become more astute voters. All right, so we can hold our leaders to the fire. Now, here is Pastor McDavid. He did a phenomenal job, in my opinion, unpacking what a tariff is. Let's dive into it. Here we go.
I'm going to explain to you tariffs in a way that you can explain to anybody moving forward. You ready? Let's say you sell auto insurance. I want you to give me clients because I need to grow my business. And we meet each other. We're friends. We're networking at a local Chamber of Commerce event. We say, hey man, you give me one referral, I'll give you a referral. You want to kind of share some clients together? Let's do it. No problem. So all of a sudden, a month later, I've given you 5 referrals. You've given me 0. I have a referral deficit of -5. You have a referral surplus of +5. Trade deficit, trade surplus. You get the idea? Now, think about it if a year later, 5 years later, you and I are giving referrals to each other. I sit down and I look at the numbers and I said, wait a minute, Johnny, I've given you 1,100 more referrals than you've given to me. Do I look like a dummy to you? Why do I keep giving you referrals and you give me nothing in return? You're like, well, I take care of your clients when you send them my way. What's wrong with that? That's exactly the relationship between U.S. and China. I'm going to explain to you tariffs in
So I like how he actually unpacked that. He unpacked it from a business perspective so that anyone like you and I can understand what this is, right? So this was just really on trades, right? He put it in the context of referrals, right? Because that's a referral in business. A trade is a referral in business. I love how you unpack that and how if one side is referring or sending more business over to one side than the other, there's going to be a natural conflict there, potentially, to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm sending you 1,100 referrals for your clients. You want to send me 100. This is not an even exchange. So therefore, we have to have a discussion to even out the playing field. What tariffs is, that's the tool in the president's toolbox for him to be able to say, wait a minute, this is an uneven trade agreement we actually have here. So here's a tariff so we can come back to the table, right, and renegotiate terms. Because if I'm receiving more referrals or business than what someone is saying to me, and that the person say anything at all, I ain't gonna say nothing at all. It's not until the person that's actually in the arrears, they'll bring it up. Then we have to have a discussion. So I loved how you broke that thing down. Now, let's bring in another attorney real quickly before we get to President Trump's reaction. Let's go here first. Here's a constitutional attorney real quickly. And then we'll bring in the reaction from a business perspective. All right. So here is I call him ML. This is Mark Levin. Okay. Mark Levin is a constitutional attorney by trade. This is what he does. All right. And I watched this initially, and he did a phenomenal job at giving the other side of the argument. The other side, right? You heard the more the, I say the centrist side, but lean more liberal, right? From Jonathan Turley. And he actually said, wait a minute, the 6 justices interpreted tariff as a tax. That's how they interpret it. But I love how Mark unpacks it a little bit different perspective. And I said, this makes sense. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Some people like to give you a quick opinion about something like this. This is the Supreme Court decision opinion on tariffs. Here's the problem. There's opinions within opinions. It's a mess. First, there was no need for the court to rule as it did.
Wow.
Period. The majority is not even a majority, except in agreeing to hold that the tariffs were not authorized by Congress in a 1977 law.
Okay.
Second, the majority is split into 2 camps.
Okay.
You've got Roberts, Gorsuch, and Barrett, and then that camp is split somewhat between Gorsuch and Barrett. Third, the 3 other justices in the second camp of the majority, the usual leftists, well, they mostly agreed with each other, but went further in attacking the president's tariff authority.
Okay.
I can assure you they wouldn't have done it with a Biden or Obama. Number 4, this explains why it took so long for the court to issue a ruling.
Okay.
Because the ruling appears to be a variety of arguments intended to reach a result. That is, in my view, it was result-oriented.
Okay.
A result looking for a constitutional and or legal justification. Now,
so from the get-go, Mark is on the side of the president having the authority to use IEEPA to levy these tariffs. So you can see that he is not happy about this. Let's see why he's not happy.
Fifth, if the court, as here, is going to issue a ruling that is so destructive of or contrary to the executive's international, economic, national security, and foreign policy objectives and the president's strategies, the president and we, the people, deserve a lot better than the massive mess that these 9 lawyers created. This ruling is more like some committee of lawyers,
Okay.
or some law review group of legal students in the law library, each vying to impose his or her own policy preferences on the president while searching for some constitutional and legal justifications to do so.
Okay.
In fact, this case was not complicated at all, although the decision, which is actually an accumulation of arguments within the court, is complicated because of its incoherence. 6, the court majority wants you to believe that this was a matter of statutory interpretation only, involving one statute passed in 1977, and Congress's power over the purse.
There
Article
it is.
1, Section 8. That's it. Well, then why did it take 177 pages? But there's more. But Congresses have passed multiple statutes, and even more. Historically, presidents have used all kinds of trade tools to influence and affect international commerce, foreign policy, and national security. It simply does not just come down to the powers of the purse. Article 2, Section 1 gives the president great power over conducting foreign policy.
Got it.
What are tariffs?
So stop right there. So what he's saying, and he's 100% right. he's saying that because the justices, the six, interpret tariffs as a tax that by default goes to the power of the purse, which is with the Congress, he's saying, but wait a minute, the president or the executive branch has complete authority for foreign policy. That also is present as well. And so even if you interpret tariff as a tax, you cannot exclude the foreign policy aspect of this thing. So you have two realities here: a tariff, a potential tax, right? And foreign policy. Both the legislative branch, the House, the Congress, and the executive branch, the president, have roles in these two realities. That's what's going on here. Let's keep it going. Here we go.
Tariffs are effectively taxes imposed on foreign governments. Well,
right there. So now, I'm glad he said that. He said, if you interpret tariffs as a tax, who's paying the tax? Is it getting passed to the consumer? Not a passing. Who is America tariffing or taxing? It's foreign countries, not citizens. So the question you got to ask now is this here, is even if you interpret it as a tax, this tax is not levied against the American citizens, is levied against a foreign nation, which now lands in the seat of the executive branch because of foreign policy, which is the executive branch is the president's sole authority. Now, this is a good prescription.
Isn't that foreign policy? Yes. And when a president uses tariffs to influence foreign governments, whether it's over war and peace, whether it's over economic policy, whatever it's over, is that not the conduct of foreign policy? Of course it is.
Yeah.
Seventh, the court bobbed and weaved, touching on congressional delegation or non-delegation, cherry-picking the historical record where presidents have imposed tariffs and other international trade tools to influence and affect foreign policy, with the majority, we think, essentially ignoring or rejecting all contrary precedent in history. All precedent in history that came before is essentially written off. Number 8, the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, bluntly states that when he reads the text of the 1977 statute at issue, even those words specifically authorizing the president to, quote, regulate importation, it's in the statute. They're in the law. And in fact, are in several other laws, by the way, authorizing the president to impose tariffs. In this case, he says, there are just too many words between the words regulate and importation. Got that? Too many words between the word regulate, importation, for him to draw the conclusion that this particular statute authorized the president to regulate importation. Ninth, Justice Thomas went through the history of presidential power and tariffs meticulously, as he always does, and that makes clear that President Trump has, in fact, been acting within the powers traditionally exercised by past presidents. Now, I know people who are opposed to tariffs, so that's not true, but it is true. So what we're discussing here is the Constitution and the law, not policy preferences.
Yeah.
And who makes those decisions? 6 justices on the Supreme Court who can barely write a single majority opinion. In fact, they don't. 10th, Justice Kavanaugh was brilliant in his dissent, and he went through the statutory history of delegations to presidents, of tariff powers, as well as other points, making clear that the president was, in fact, delegated authority under that 1977 statute to, quote, regulate importations. Shame on Chief Justice Roberts. Shame on Justices Barrett and Gorsuch. Your word games and semantical ruminations had no place here.
So what Marcus said, and he's making a good point here, guys.
Thinking.
he's making a great point here, guys, right? A great point. What Mark is saying is he's saying that even if you interpret tariffs as a tax, there's two things you got to look at. Who's paying the tax? A foreign government, right? And the president has the sole authority under importations, which it does. So this is a foreign policy issue, not a domestic issue. That is the difference here, guys. That's the difference. This is a great explanation that Mark was doing when it comes to the situation. In my opinion, guys, and I'm done with Mark. If you want to, guys, I'll put it in the show notes so you guys can watch it entirely. It is a great unpacking of it. My man ML did his thing on this one. Guys, here is my thoughts on this. Is I agree with Mark Levin 1,000%. But I also understand exactly what Jonathan Turley was saying, right? I can agree with that as well. Now, before I give you my thoughts, let's see how this was, how the free market responded to this, right? The free market responded to this. Let's bring in Kevin O'Leary. And let's hear him talk about this real quickly, guys. And see what he has to say. Here we go.
Go to the Kevin O'Leary. Go for it.
Great to see you. So this has got to be a pretty big day in your world. What has the reaction been?
It's not a great day for me. We were humming along nicely until this morning. Here's what's happening on the ground. I know you've been talking about the politics and the policy, but let's talk about a business making $100 million in sales. It might have paid out $5 million in the last 14 months on these tariffs. And they're in my portfolio. I got phone calls from our customers, from our lenders because we borrowed against our line of credit, and from our shareholders that we reduced distributions on during this period waiting to settle on the tariffs. They all want their money back. Now, to be compliant, what am I supposed to do? I don't even know how this is going to get filed. It's going to be with Treasury, not the IRS, I assume. I'm going to try and get a meeting with staffers, best of staffers, when I get to the State of the Union next week to see if they can give me some guidance, because my head's getting squeezed from the top and the bottom to be compliant. And every business in America is going through this right now. There are people that want their money back within the distribution, shareholder, and lender system. And for me, and I'm telling you right now, you're the first to hear it, I'm setting up a resource called wondertrust.com, hiring, if not hundreds, thousands of accountants and lawyers, because I don't know how else to be compliant. And I'm going to use them with my companies. What else are we supposed to do? Because everybody wants their money back. And I don't know what the policy is going to be on that. It's not a great afternoon for me, to be honest with you.
So, guys, that's the first reaction when it comes to the real world, guys. Because what the Supreme Court actually did was they made a ruling, right, but gave no guidance on how to unwind this. They just left it out there. This is a mess. This is a mess that they actually did. Of course, President Trump did not like it at all. And let's see what he has to say about it real quick. Let's bring in President Trump to see what he would say about it as well, because he was not happy. Here we go. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those three people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting.
So again, he's not happy about this at all, as you can tell, and that I can understand that, guys. But here are my thoughts concerning this, guys. On this, let me get rid of this real quickly. All right. Here are my thoughts on this entire thing. This is a mess. It realistically is, guys. Here are my thoughts on this. The Supreme Court should have never made a ruling on this because, as Jonathan Turley and Mark Levin accurately talked about, there are two roles that intertwine with this whole situation: the power of the purse as well as foreign policy, right? And both the legislative branch and the executive branch have responsibilities there, right? In both of them. Now, this could have been duked out. What they should have said was, you know what, guys? There's not enough wording here for us to come to a conclusion, given that there's these two roles intertwining in this unique situation. Hey, this is a political issue. You guys duke it out together to figure this out, right? We don't need to be involved in this. That's what the ruling should have been. Should have been that 1,000%. But unfortunately, they got involved and they made it a lot more messy because now that they ruled how they ruled, right? Just concerning IEEPA, that's it. The president can still enforce tariffs, which he's doing now, with other acts. Not a problem with it at all. But because of this, now what's happening is, as Kevin Leary actually said, he has investors, banks calling and saying, hey, we want our money back. So how's this going to work? The Supreme Court, after they made this ruling, gave no guidance on how to unwind this at all. That's a terrible strategy. Horrible what they actually did. They should have never have at all been involved with this process. The executive branch and the legislative branch should have got together if they wanted to get more point on the language, drafted another act to give the president authority or not, and it's done. And to be honest with you, I think that these guys really wanted to get involved in this process. These guys, meaning the Supreme Court. They wanted to get involved in this. I think it's become very political, the Supreme Court. It really has. They're liking the limelight that they're getting a lot of the times. And instead of saying, hey, honestly, guys, we shouldn't be involved in this process at all, what they did was they wanted to get the limelight and they made a bad ruling. A terrible ruling. It's pretty bad, guys. Bad ruling. In my opinion, guys, to be honest with you, I believe that this, for what I have read and listened to other attorneys on the liberal, independent, and libertarian, and the conservative side, my thoughts on this is this here, is tariffs under this act rest solely with the president. The president actually had the ability to do this because of two things. Even if you interpret tariff as a tax, the taxes are not being levied on the American consumer. They're not directly. They may be passed on by the business, but that's based on what the business wants to do, right? Not on the government. The government is forcing a tax or a tariff on a foreign government based on foreign imports or imports to the United States. And the language there is, when it comes to imports, that's the executive branch function. Foreign policy, executive branch function. So in my opinion, based on what this act actually says, is the president had the authority to do this. He sure did. Based on what I see. I gotta say it. This is a terrible ruling by the Supreme Court. Horrid. It did nothing at all to strengthen America at all. It smells extremely political. Just by reading their opinions, and then you read the dissent. The dissent was more detailed than the affirmative. It's a problem, guys. It's a problem. Bad ruling. Bad. All right, guys. Man, that was really good, guys. Now let's go to the next topic, guys, real quickly here. Right? Next topic. Here's the next topic we're gonna go through, guys. It is man. I don't know if you guys saw this at all. Let me go back here real fast. And what's going on with the Chicago Bears? Huh? What's going on with the Bears, y'all? My dad is a huge Chicago Bears fan. I mean, he is a huge Chicago Bears fan. I mean, all things Chicago. What's going on with Chicago, guys? Man, it's called the Chicago Fumble. The Chicago Bears are reported eyeing Indiana as a move, leaving Chicago to go to Indiana. What? How in the hell did this happen? Well, let's find out, guys. Here is the news. Let's go to the Chicago news real quickly, guys, and see what's going on and see what actually happened, guys. This shocked the crap out of me. What has actually happened? Here is the news up there. Come on, wait, yeah. Oh, here we go. Come on, here we go. Here's the news, guys, talking about what's going on with Chicago. About I'm moving to, Indiana. Here we go.
More now on the Bears Stadium saga. The team is closer than ever to possibly leaving Illinois and building its new stadium right here in Hammond, Indiana.
Wow.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the latest developments came as a surprise. Our Marissa Perlman once again reporting from Springfield today, getting reaction from Illinois leaders.
Illinois lawmakers say they're disappointed to learn that Indiana is moving forward on a bill to try to lure the Bears across state lines. But Indiana is making it clear they want the team, and lawmakers here say they know the clock is ticking.
Wow.
A House committee room sits empty on the Capitol, where a much-anticipated hearing was set to move forward, but canceled at the 11th hour.
Wow.
A surprise, according to Governor J.B. Pritzker.
The Bears actually, yesterday, we completed more than 3 hours, my team did, of discussions with the Bears.
The governor saying the request to cancel came from the team to, quote, tweak language in the bill, a sign of a setback for efforts to keep the team in state.
We're waiting to hear from the Bears what they'd like to do next, because they've essentially stopped things in their tracks.
This as Indiana announced the Bears would commit $2 billion towards a proposed stadium project near Wolf Lake in northwest Indiana. The proposal cleared committee in a unanimous vote, signaling strong support from Indiana lawmakers. The Bears themselves released a statement calling it the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date, but stopped short of committing to a move.
I have to say it's very disappointing to hear that they would put that statement out but not say anything about the advancement that's been made in the state of Illinois.
With this latest stall in Springfield, the Rolling Meadows' Rob Sabo said the Indiana momentum only reinforces the urgency for clarity.
I am disappointed about the news that was announced today with respect to the Bears continuing to focus on Indiana. I think it makes it clear that the Bears are not bluffing that Indiana is an option.
Illinois lawmakers and local leaders are now under intense pressure to respond quickly, with the Illinois legislative session running much later in the year than Indiana's. But Sabo says Illinois is still hopeful. Their deal is still in the game.
The progress is being made. We just need the Bears there to say, yes, we want to stay in Arlington Park and put the Indiana side of this equation to bed.
It's also worth noting the governor mentioned Bears CEO Kevin Warren chose not to be in the meeting where the team and state officials, quote, mostly agreed on a bill. Other team leads have been sitting in on negotiations. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS News, Chicago.
That's a bad sign. Whenever you have the decision makers not in the room and you have lower level people in the room, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. And they have been negotiating this for the last 4 years. Like this is bad. Now, how did the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois fumble this. Let's actually see, guys. Let's see what actually happened and how they did this. Let's bring in, guys, Indiana. Indiana came in and said, hey, baby, we got you, baby. We got you. Here is, let's see who this is. Let's go get it. Here we go. Let's get it. Here we go.
Our next guest is all in on this move, saying Indiana is open for business. The governor, Mike Braun, joins us now. Governor, it's great to see you.
Listen to this, guys.
You know, I never thought in my life I'd be talking to the governor of Indiana about the Chicago Bears moving to Indiana. That's what we're doing here. But I got to tell you, you know, J.D. Pritzker had some strong words about Indiana there in the clip that we showed. Nobody wants to go to Indiana. They don't take care of their workers and they don't provide health care. I wonder if you'd like to respond to that governor next door about what's going on with the Bears right now.
That sounds like somebody that believes in big government and is kind of floundering from what they used to have as a state and a city that probably was run a lot better. And when you look at the simple fact that our GDP growth is twice that of Illinois. And the number of people that have been moving in, I think I heard a stat where Fort Wayne, all the way over in the northeastern part of the state, its biggest population influx from the Chicago area. When you double down on heavy regulations, high taxes, people will vote with their feet eventually.
Exactly.
And we are an enterprising state in economic development. Since I've been there, we've spent 1/3 the amount on incentivized jobs and raised wages by over 10%, 36 to 41 bucks. All kinds of stats that would counter everything he said. They've gotten a good peek at what doing business in a state like Indiana would be. And by the way, they started this conversation 3 years ago.
Wow.
2.5 years, cold shoulder. Bears came to us. We've been working with them, and they know what it's like for a state that's open for business.
You know,
So hold on, stop right there. So what I'm hearing here from the governor is this here is Chicago, the city of Chicago and Illinois have been working on this deal for the last 2 to 3 years. And there has been no movement. Then what actually happened is the Bears reached out to Indiana. Indiana said, hey, come on in, baby, because why? They're better for business. Lower regulations, lower taxes, more willing to negotiate, guys. Whenever, as a business owner, you're always looking for the best environment to grow or scale your business. And it's hard for a business owner or a big business or even a small, mid-sized business to begin to scale and getting bigger or gain more influence if it's always saddled with higher regulations as well as higher taxes. Those are costs to the business, guys. This is not hard to understand. And we all know that Illinois and the city of Chicago loves taxes. They love regulations. These Belmonts got a Netflix tax. A damn Netflix tax. What the hell? They're inventing ways to create new regulations and newer taxes that is not appealing to a business, no matter if it's a small, medium, or big business like the Chicago Bears. So Chicago, the state of Chicago and the state of Illinois, forgive me, and the city of Chicago are about to lose an NFL team because of the bad regulations and taxes? How dumb can you be? This is what happens when you have a school teacher / principal who is now the chief executive officer for the business called the city of Chicago. What you get, dumb stuff like this here. You begin to lose businesses right here. They're already talking about raising property taxes already. Like that affects the consumers or the Chicago Bears. Because if more money is leaving the pockets of the consumers, guess what they have less of to spend to spend for the Chicago Bears? Buying tickets, buying memorabilia, buying apparel, as well as food. Hello. That affects the bottom line of the Chicago Bears. Wow. They just got out and negotiated. They got out and negotiated. This is horrible. Now, again, let's keep it going. We not done. Let's keep it going. We got another video of these Bamas. This is going to be the former governor of Illinois who's going to bring in an executive branch state perspective. Let's see what that said about what actually happened. Here we go.
The next business to flee a blue state for a red state might be the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
Indiana is in talks with the team about building a new stadium in their state, leaving Illinois leaders stunned.
Here to react is former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, along with our very own Adam Klotz, who's our resident expert on Indiana.
Yeah.
So, Governor, tell us, first of all, what are the real prospects of this actually happening?
No, I think it's become a lot more real over the last couple of days than it ever was before. The Indiana legislature did what it did, and it caught our governor asleep. Frankly, he's been outplayed by the Indiana governor. Governor Pritzker really is guilty of gubernatorial malpractice. And this isn't the first time a major business is about to leave Illinois. Just think about what's happened to our state in the last couple of years. In 2023, 218 businesses left Illinois. Citadel has left Illinois.
Wow.
Caterpillar has left Illinois.
Wow.
Boeing has left Illinois. Mayor Daley and I were instrumental in bringing Boeing to Chicago. Tyson Foods has left Illinois.
Wow.
Nearly 1 million people have left Illinois. Why? Because Pritzker has raised taxes and fees more than 50 times. He spent $3 billion on illegal immigrants, migrants, and apparently doesn't have the money or has paid the attention to try to keep the Bears in Illinois. So he's been outplayed and outflanked by this Indiana governor because his priorities are all about defending sanctuary for illegal immigrants, tens of thousands of whom he knows are violent criminals, and he's turned his back on a working class fan base of the Chicago Bears because we love our Chicago Bears and we don't want to see them leave.
He's saying that the governor, as well as the mayor, are more interested in illegal immigrants than running the business of the state and city for the businesses that are already there. Could sanctuary city policies and sanctuary state policies be unattractive to businesses? Wow. Gots to be more careful. Again, guys, if Chicago loses the Chicago Bears, this will be the stupidest, dumbest mistake that a governor and a city a mayor could ever make by losing an NFL team like the Chicago Bears to Indiana. And all because Indiana has a more friendlier business environment for Chicago. I got to say, hand clap of praise to the business development division for the state of Illinois. Hand clap of praise, y'all. Hey. I'm about to. Yeah, hand clap of praise. Come on. Yeah, hand clap of praise, y'all. Yes, sir. Great job, because you saw an opportunity and you seized it because of the malfeasance of running the state and the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois by these Bamas. Heck up a praise. Good business, saw opportunity and took a good business from Chicago, Illinois, because of bad business practices from the state as well as the city. Hey, I think that they're too entitled, let's be honest with you. But hey, can I have a praise, guys? Wonderful move, guys. Now, guys, let's go over to the next topic real quickly, guys. Next one. The State of the Union, guys. It happened on Tuesday, and there was a lot of noise. A lot of noise, guys. A lot of noise. Let's bring this in. I want to focus on one specific section, okay? One section. And that section is going to be the section. Here we go. It is a section to where when President Trump was getting yelled at and it wasn't a good look at all. But I want you guys to pay attention to what happens next. All right, let's get into it. Here we go.
One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Watch this. Look. Right there. You see that, guys? On this side over here, guys, are Republicans. On this side are Democrats. Notice how there's not one Democrat that stood up. Not one concerning what President Trump just said. If you support, the government should protect the American citizens first before any illegal immigrants. And you see the Democrats sat down and Republicans stood up and clapped. Just saying. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Now watch this. Now watch this. We're not done. Watch this. Wow. Watch this. Look, there it is. You see it. Okay, you see it. Okay, that's a long clap. Yeah, okay, that's hold up. Look at, they don't look, they don't look happy at all. Look at them. Look at them.
Not so asking.
Here we go.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. But in 12 months,
as you guys can see, it was not a pleasant thing, but I wanted to highlight when it came to that question about putting American citizens before illegal immigrants. The Democrats didn't stand up at all. They sat down, and actually a lot of them, some of them got angry. Now, let's see why. Let's bring in a good buddy. This is right after the State of the Union. A good buddy, Scott Jennings, went on CNN. Right, CNN. Right. Let's see what Scott had to say real quickly on this real fast, y'all, and let's see what happens. Here we go.
Hey, I think the part of the speech that's probably going to live on for most Republicans.
Right there. Now, let me set the scene real fast, guys. This is Van Jones and Scott Jennings sitting in front of voters. They're asking about this specific situation that we just saw. That segment. Okay, let's get into it.
Is when he asked the Congress, stand up if you think your duty is first to American citizens before illegal aliens. Republicans stood up. It gave him his most sustained applause for the night. I suspect, Van, you're going to see this in a lot of campaign ads, that Democrats wouldn't stand up. What did you all think of the showmanship of that, or of sort of the spectacle of trying to get Democrats to stand up for that?
Well, I think the point, that and it may have gotten a little muddled, but in the showmanship, but I think his point is valid. Everybody in that room represents the citizens in this country. And are you doing your job? He should, the governor asked, is Trump doing his job? Trump asked, are all of you doing your job?
But I think the...
Wow. So that's a voter said that he has a point. The voter's saying this. He's saying this. So voters have seen how the Democrat Party, right, when the question was asked about putting American citizens first before illegal immigrants, and only Republicans were clapping their hands, and the Democrats didn't stand up at all and actually got a little bit angry. Some of them did. Guys, voters are saying, yo, man, your job is to represent us, not illegal immigrants. Right there on CNN. Now, we're not done, y'all. He goes another one, guys, real quickly here, to where there's an exchange between Scott Jennings on CNN and a Democrat congressman for the state of, I think, Tennessee. I want you guys to pay attention to what this exchange. All right, here we go.
That's right. This administration cannot be trusted, and they can't be trusted to hold themselves accountable. Even after the killing of Alex Pretty and Renee Good, they didn't want to share information about what was happening, which is why we have to abolish ICE. We have to abolish the Customs and Border Patrol in the way that they currently exist and replace them with something that...
So again, abolishing ICE, Border Patrol and Customs, abolishing. So when someone says about, then he adds at the end, well, to kind of reimagine. No. So again, abolishing ICE and the Border Patrol and Customs, that only can lead to what? An open border. Right? Let's keep going.
Actually does the work that we need for them to do, which is why we need a Congress that works and that is effective at holding these people in this administration accountable. I'll tell you what the work is not. The work is not killing American citizens.
You said the work we
in
need
our
them to
community.
do. I'm interested in your opinion. What
Absolutely.
is the work that we need them to do?
Absolutely. One, the work is not killing American citizens.
No,
It's
what
not
is
going
the work we
into-
need them to do?
Well, first, let's look at what they don't need to do. They don't need to go into communities like Memphis,
Do they need to
Tennessee,
deport illegal aliens?
where they're currently terrorizing
need
and
to deport
traumatizing
illegal
our
aliens?
communities. What we also need
Can
to
you
make
say
sure
it?
is that we have elected
Can you
officials
say
who are
it?
creating a pathway of opportunity for people who are currently undocumented.
Do
Because
we
the truth
need
of
a
the matter
federal
is,
law enforcement agency to deport illegal aliens, yes or no?
we do need a federal law enforcement agency that deals with immigration, that doesn't kill
deport
people.
illegal aliens,
What we
yes or
do
no?
also need is laws that make sure that people
Is
who
there
are
a single illegal alien
undocumented-
that you would deport?
This is what I want you to focus
one.
on.
Is
This
there
what I
one?
want you to focus on. There are a lot of people in this country and
One.
in this community, in our communities,
Is there one?
that have done so much to make them better, and we need to be prioritizing
So the
how
answer
we
is
create
no.
opportunity. and
Is this the
access for
Democratic
them
position
to
for
be there.
26?
The
That there are
Democratic
no
position
illegal
in
aliens that should be
26
deported?
The Democratic position in 26 is that we don't terrorize American citizens, we don't terrorize undocumented
If you were
people,
advising
and we
Democrats in
don't
26,
kill
would you
people
advise
like
them to
Alex
answer this
Pretty
question
and
this
Renee
way,
Good?
that you can't say there is a single illegal alien that should be deported by the federal government?
What is shocking to me is that you think you can narrow the challenges of
It's not narrow, it's broad.
immigration.
There's 20 million
that you can
here.
challenge the issues of immigration into one yes or no question, when the reality is the policies and practices
should we follow
of
the law
this
is the yes or no
administration have led to the deaths of American citizens and has not produced the results that
No
we want.
deportations. That's the Democratic position.
Wow. That right there was brutal. Brutal. Again, why couldn't the young man say anything about deporting illegal immigrants? Why all the weasel words? Why all the latitude when it comes to the vocabulary, the word salads? Why? At least you affirm by saying you want to abolish ICE and Border Patrol and Customs. But that only leads to one thing: open borders. It's very evident from what I can see is when it comes to the American citizen, on the Democrat side, for what I have seen, right? They lean more favorably toward the illegal immigrants, not the American citizens. Why? Because they are a voting base. Because the census counts bodies, not American citizens. So the more bodies you have, the more seats you actually have in the House, which means you can control what? votes. It's about political power for them. Party over everything. Shame. Because American citizens are the one who actually put you in those seats. Now, voters, you are going to have to become more astute in 1 sec here. You're going to have to become more astute, guys, in being able to understand how to take care of this. Don't fall for somebody that has a slippery tongue. As you can see, the young man was a great, eloquent speaker. He was a phenomenal speaker, but he offered no solutions, which is not shocking to me at all. So again, guys, again, the Democratic Party side, from what I can see here, and I'm open to being persuaded differently. I'm open, but it's clear they want open borders. And they also want to create, they're creating another voting base of illegal immigrants to secure power. It's that simple. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not based on my assumption. I'm looking at what they are doing. It's very easy to see. It's sad, guys. It's sad. Very, very sad. So, and if you're a supporter of this, guys, hey, show us how it's done. Before you open the border, show us how it's done. Invite in some illegal immigrants to live with you. Why not? Invite them in, baby. Show us how it's done. But unfortunately, you won't. Sad, guys. Sad, man. Sad. Guys, I think that this was a very good Kind of Move podcast, guys. All right, guys, real quickly, guys. Tomorrow, we have Real Estate Friday live, guys, every Friday at 5 p.m. CST. Cliff and I, you come kick it with us. We're talking about all the real estate. Tomorrow, we're talking about cryptocurrency, lending, as well as leveraging to be able to acquire more properties. And also, hey, how can crypto turn around? Can it turn around what's going on, guys? All right, guys, here's a little bit of a sneak peek of what we're talking about. Here we go. Sir, there's a GC right there. Cliff. Go.
It's piers. They got concrete piers and wood piers.
Yes, sir.
Checklist. Check out the checklist. We got it for everything we need.
Yes, sir.
Right, you forget some things sometimes. So this is going to outline. Make sure you hit every single thing. What's the foundation? Plumbing, electric, painting, flooring, everything. So you don't miss anything.
Okay.
You want to make sure you get all your checks.
Okay. I want to introduce you guys to Cliff Hunter. Cliff is a world-renowned flipper. He actually flips. He's also a GC as well. He's a good contractor. When it comes to all of our renovations, all over the nation, you'll talk to this guy right here. Guys, that's Real Estate Friday Live, guys. Every Friday at 5 p.m. CST. You can go with your partner Cliff, and I hate when he does this real fast. Like, let me get it right. Let me get my colors right, y'all. My bad, man. I don't know why it does this, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna trip. There we go, baby. Real Estate Live every Friday at 5 p.m. CST on all platforms. On all platforms. So tomorrow you'll see us on all platforms. And also, guys, I am relaunching the Kind of Move podcast. The interview series is called the Whiteboard edition, guys. Here's a little bit of sneak peek of that one, guys. All right, here we go. One of the many questions that I receive is, Liddell, how do I get into those rooms? Well, this interview series is just for you. So welcome to the room.
We on now. They respect us cause we on now. Money up, run a whole town, don't we? This power money can't slow slow down, money won't slow down. We doing live, how we got on top, how we got on the top, network and hustle.
Guys, that is the Accountable Podcast, the interview series, guys. It's called the Whiteboard series, where we actually bring in the mogul and we sit down and we talk about who they are, how they got to where they're at, and the specific formula system that they actually use to get from zero to that elite level, guys. It's going to be on the whiteboard. We're going to write all that out, guys. It's going to be very, very a lot of fun, guys. And then last, I have anything else I want to share, guys. And lastly, guys, man. Oh, yeah. Real quickly here, guys. If you're wanting a free book, guys, because you know I'm in real estate development and private equity finance, guys. Again, real estate, to me, is the best time in my history to buy real estate right now, guys, because there's so many deals out there. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. Now, I'm giving away a free ebook right now on how to locate distressed properties, right? And also we are including in there the exact prompts on how you can actually construct a appraisal package so that you can get that over to your appraiser so that you can get the value that you're looking to get from an as-is and ARV using AI. We give you all the prompts for free. It is there, guys. This made my life so much better, guys. And I found out how to do this, guys, by testing it out because I got a bad appraisal on one of my projects. I sat down and said, how can I solve this issue? And I came up with a solution, and I used AI, right, to be able to, with the right prompts, and put those prompts in there. So now what happens is I put those prompts in there. It's what I need. And so whenever I'm getting an appraisal, I give it right to the appraiser themselves so that there's no thinking at all. He just has information. It is and images, right, guys? I mean, this was a game changer for me, guys. And guys, if you don't want to have anything to do with real estate, I understand, guys. No problem with it at all. Hey, guys, here's some information about other business models that you guys actually look at starting, guys. It's free information. It's free. DM me the word mentor. Scan on the QR code right there, guys, or click on the link below in the show notes and go look at the free information. It's free. It is free, guys. But guys, thanks so much for your time. God bless you, guys. I gotta go. You know I end it every single time, guys. Before you leave, and while you can, you see that thing, baby. Take that damn picture and give it to your mom and them. And holla at your partner. God bless you, guys. See you guys next week, guys. All right, y'all. Peace.
What if you could help families lower their bills and get paid for it? Healthcare premiums, insurance rates, and loan interest just keep climbing higher. And most people just keep paying without knowing that there's a better way. We use a fintech platform that connects people to lower healthcare costs, competitive auto and home insurance, better loan products, higher yield bank deposits, and even ways to cut energy costs, all in one place. It's the same technology that banks and big corporations use currently. But now entrepreneurs like us can leverage this technology to build an income stream and help others save. Take our 30-second assessment to see if this business model is a fit for you. Click on the link, watch the short video after, and let's explore what's possible.
Okay, so you did fixes and flips first, or were they? Now it sounds like you're more buying whole. Okay, so you're wholesaling first. Okay,
because I was broke. I had no credit, I had no money, so I had to get some money coming in. So I learned how to do wholesale.
And you were doing wholesaling at the good time too. 2000. When it wasn't so saturated. I
kind of saw the debacle coming. Okay, it didn't make any sense. I was like, wait a minute, how can you lend out to retail buyers 99.7%?
Yeah,
just a little bit of a down tick. It's insolvent.
And you got to remember, in some states, because I lived in Florida at the time, you could have loan to value above 100% of your property.
Right.
The first property that I bought, it was 110%. We left the bank with like $30,000.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. It was amazing to me. I was like, why am I not doing this all the time? But then clearly 08, 09 let me know why people shouldn't have been doing that all the time.
08, 09, that's why I made that lion's share of my money.
Wow,
People
okay.
were actually running from the cows. I was running to it.
Of course.
Because I saw it was coming.
Okay.
A lot of my business colleagues back then were buying flippers.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was wise for me to share 50% of my profit with Uncle Sam. He didn't do no work.
Okay.
So why would I give him free money?
Of course.
Okay, how can I make sure I'm still legal, but keep the lion's share of the cash flow?
Of course.
So I began studying the tax code with my accountants and CPAs, and I said, okay, I'm going to buy a whole lot of properties. Now watch this. I actually buy a lot of properties, and I take home money when I actually acquire it. Every single time.
Okay, you need to break that down just a little bit.
If you'd like to learn how successful real estate investors make money when they acquire real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below, swipe up, DM me the word to real estate to download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed. I'll let your partner and download the ebook today.